Hello, galera do Heavy Culture Talk. Hoje, mais um talk especial com nada mais, nada menos que o tecladista do lendário Uriah Heep, Phil Lanzon.
Welcome, Phil.
Phil.
Hi.
Quem vai conduzir junto com a gente aqui o nosso querido Christian. Seja bem-vindo, Christian. E para a gente não perder tempo, eu já quero perguntar para o Phil, né, que se passaram 5 anos desde o último, agora penúltimo lançamento da banda, né, Living the Dream, e que foi um período bastante complicado, né, nos últimos 5 anos, né, todos nós fomos afetados aí pela pandemia. Então, como é que a banda passou por esse momento? Enfim, o que motivou esse longo período, né, 5 anos sem lançamentos?
Okay. Jay is asking about the 5-year hiatus the band passed through because of the pandemic too, and things like that. What happened to the band in this period?
Well, during the pandemic, obviously we couldn't meet. We were prisoners. And so me and Mick, we sat down at home and we talked via the screen, and we compiled songs remotely, obviously, because we had no choice. We'd be used to sitting in a room together for many years. This is how we wrote the albums, but unfortunately we had no choice but to do it remotely, and it was fine. We got on good, and we created all the stuff that we wanted to create. We put our ideas together, and from those ideas we progressed to the finished songs. And then we didn't go into the studio until pandemic was, finishing.
Yes. Jay? Mais alguma coisa?
Já falando do novo disco, né? Chaos and Color, né? Tem sido amplamente aclamado já pelos fãs e pela crítica, e sem dúvida aí eles capricharam muito nesse novo álbum. Como é que ele está analisando essa ampla aceitação pelos fãs e pela crítica?
Okay. Chaos and Color is having a huge acceptance by the critics and also the audience. And how do you see this? How are you facing this acceptance? Because it's like a very huge acceptance. Everybody is talking very good things. Everybody was surprised by this album. It's like a very good return for the band too, I think. How do you see this?
Yeah, I see it as a little bit of a step up from the norm, because it's only been available for 1 week.
Yeah.
And, the reviews are amazing, and the interesting thing is the comments from so many people are very mixed, which is good. Now, we're not focusing on one song. They're focusing on, they have something in, all the songs have something for somebody. And I think that's a very good combination. And I think it's due to that people are interested. And also because we have obviously the rock element, the heavy element, and the ballad or the longer songs element, we're catering for a whole generation all across the board.
Yeah. Well, I have a question now is about the generations, because Uriah Heep now has a whole new generation of fans. It's like recycling, we have the old fans, very old fans, and we have a bunch of new fans now because of the internet, because it's like that time when it's very difficult to find any stuff and things of that like that, and now we have it is easier to find. How do you see that?
The best way to explain is every summer we do festivals in Europe and Scandinavia, etc., etc. And in the last, I should say, 8, 9, 10 years, there are 3 generations of audience now in the festival audience. The grandfathers, the fathers, and the grandsons.
All together.
Unbelievable. I mean, when I first joined the band back in the 80s, it was a different scenario. But now, since time has gone by, 3 generations at festivals, you see it all the time, and sometimes really young children, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids.
Yeah,
it's great, getting on down.
This is, I think, is amazing, because in that time was just like one or maybe two generations, When I was like 3, I'm going to the 4th, I think.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe,
Who
for
knows?
sure. We hope so. Jay?
To that,
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, cheers.
Jay?
I'm allowed to. It's after 7:00.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jay, pode fazer a pergunta.
Tem a ver com essa resposta, né? A banda tá muito revigorada, né? Ela parece, né? Tá que nem como o filme mostrou aí, tá que nem vinho, né? E comparando, sempre ocorreram comparações com o Deep Purple, né? Uriah Heep, com esse novo álbum, ele realmente, no meu ponto de vista, né? Ele apresenta que está numa fase, num momento muito superior aos últimos lançamentos do Deep Purple. Então sempre teve uma comparação, né? Se tratando de dinossauros do rock. Então, qual é o segredo do Uriah Heep? Tem alguma coisa aí?
I don't speak Portuguese, I'm sorry.
Okay, no. It's like Jay was talking about the comparisons between Uriah Heep and Deep Purple. Like, for many years, those bands were compared and things like that. And nowadays, everybody considers that Uriah Heep is like very superior, or like producing better stuff than Deep Purple. How do you see this, and how you see this, like the band as a renewed band? Because the band is like, as Jay said, it's like wine, it's getting older and better. How do you see that?
I think the whole thing about that is, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep. Deep Purple were more the individual instrumental and and single vocal band, and the fantastic history is for all to see. No problem. But the difference was that, and Uriah Heep had 5 singers, and the songs were constructed differently, even though the instrumentation would have been the same, the Hammond organ and the guitar and all the usual things. So that's what made us different. So we are both bands are from the same stable, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
One does this and one does that. I don't make comparisons.
Yeah.
Qual o segredo?
That's like I think most of the critics that time use it like to compare bands. Nowadays it's completely different. And what is the secret to keep the band like that? Like always refreshing the band and keeping it alive.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's how do I say? It's a job that you enjoy doing. Imagine if for people who enjoy the work that they're doing, if someone comes along to you and say, you have to stop doing that, what are you going to say? No, because I enjoy doing this. This is my life. This is what I enjoy. The other thing, which is very important to say, is if this applies to new bands and new artists, if you don't have the enjoyment and the passion for what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
It's a question of, do I believe in what I'm doing? Do I have passion for what I'm doing? Do I enjoy what I'm doing? The answer is yes, then that's good. That's all you have to remember. If those answers are no, then you shouldn't be in the business.
For sure. And I have another question about the comparisons, but it's not the bands, so like as generations. How do you see the new rock and roll generations? Like many people say that the rock and roll died and things like that. And then we have some dinosaurs band back showing that it is alive, but only with like the dinosaurs rock and roll. It's like, seems that the new one is like not able to do the same thing or to revigorate the rock and roll as it was in the 70s and 80s.
I think you've got to try and treat the word rock and roll very carefully, because you have to imagine, let's say, an oak tree. An oak tree that is grown. Okay. If you now look at the main body of the oak tree, it is one central solid piece, and that's where rock and roll was born, right? Now, if you look at the leaves at the very top of the tree, they may have the essence of that rock and roll, but they won't be the same. They can't be, because they've moved through the main trunk, they've divided up, they've become branches, they've become twigs, they become leaves. So as you can see, rock and roll is watered down, not in a bad way, but diluted to become many arms going in different directions. It's not to say one is good or bad. It's just that things must change. So, a one man can say, well, this is not rock and roll, but it's crazy to make a statement like that, because it is what it is, and that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
I'll drink to that.
Jay, pode fazer mais uma aí?
O Phil entrou na banda em 1986, né? Como é que foi para ele assumir os teclados, né? Em 86, o Uriah Heep já era uma banda consagrada, né? E teve uma trajetória muito, muito espetacular nos anos 70, né? Como foi para ele assumir os teclados, né? Numa banda que realmente foi um expoente muito forte do hard rock mundial, né? E que lembranças ele guarda daquela época, enfim, né? Só para a gente... É mais uma curiosidade de fã mesmo.
Sim. Jay is asking about when you entered the band in 1986. How was it for you? Because Uriah Heep in that time was already a huge band, a very famous band. How was it for you to join the band that time? How did you feel about it? The responsibility of being in the band like that?
It was great fun. I had no problem at all. I just walked straight into there. I got on really well with Mick and Lee and Trevor, and we had a great time together, and it was automatic. I had no, what's the word for it? I had no feeling of thinking about the past, before. I had no feeling of thinking, I must do this, or I must be very careful here, or, I think the camaraderie between the members of the band made it very easy to walk into that room, and it was very comfortable, and it has been ever since.
Great. Jay?
Vou falar um pouco do Kells and Colors, né? Tem 11 composições e eu confesso que eu gostaria de selecionar as melhores, mas eu tentei e não consegui. Fala isso para ele, que todas as faixas são incríveis, né? E eu quero parabenizar ele pelo incrível trabalho dele nos teclados. Enfim, magnífico, tá? Não é exagero. Eu queria que ele mencionasse quais as músicas que ele gostou mais do álbum, enfim, se ele pudesse falar do álbum de uma maneira geral. Enfim, eu não consegui selecionar.
Okay. Jay is talking about colors and chaos, and it says that for him it's very difficult to choose a favorite song because all the songs are amazing, like it's difficult to pick one and say this is my favorite one, this is the favorite one. They are all perfect. And how do you see this? And do you have any favorite song on this album? Because the compositions are great,
Yeah, I got to be honest. It's very difficult to. I keep listening to the songs now. You must understand. When we finish recording this album, for me, and I think Mick is the same as me, we never listen to the record again until it's released, ever. Just put it down, it's finished, we go and do something else, and we forget about it till it's released. So really, those songs are now quite new to my ears. And it's not easy to choose. I think that's a good sign. 1 minute it's this song, 1 minute it's that song. Then I hear the other songs, I go, oh, hey, that's not so bad. Hey, well, what are we going to do with this one? Hey, I think the overall picture of the album is been quite a success so far.
Yeah, we could say that it is a complete album. It's like there is no best. It's like the album is the best thing altogether. It's like you can't play one and say like this one is better, this one is okay. No, it's like it's a complete whole album. I think that's
exactly right.
And Jay is giving his congratulations for the work and the keyboards because it sounds amazing. And by the way, I have a question about keyboards because nowadays they sound a little bit different than the old days and things like that. They were more synthesizers and things like that. And how do you see this? Because I prefer the old ones, all that Oh, technology.
Well, it's funny because you say about the Hammond B3.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Brian Auger, he posted a picture on Facebook, and it was B3 organ with 7 Leslies.
Well,
right across. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so funny. But no, we use the Hammond in recording. We don't tend to use the Hammond on touring because we don't truck it around. It's complicated. Sometimes it's a very temperamental instrument. And if you're busy, the touring schedule is too busy, some problems can happen and it becomes a real problem. That's why we use Nord keyboard. We use Nord keyboards on the road. But in the studio, we use a Hammond, and it's my favorite instrument. It has, how can I explain it? It's a keyboard's dream, perfect.
Yeah, the sound is different for sure. It's like the body of the sound is completely like.
The sound, I have to say also regarding the sound itself, in the early 70s, there was a lot of keyboard players used the Hammond with a Marshall cabinet and a Marshall amplifier and a Leslie. So you have that sound. It's more, I can't explain it, a slightly different character in the sound.
Yeah.
That was back in the 70s, and it was a unique sound, which I really liked a lot. But the sound I use is similar, but not the same.
Yeah, it's like you can have it, but it's in a different way.
You got it.
Jay?
Já que a gente está falando dos teclados, quais são as referências do Phil nos teclados? Quem ele buscou se inspirar? Enfim, quais os ídolos dele?
Okay. Jay is asking about your inspirations for the keyboards, like keyboard players that you enjoy, like even like classical musicians and things like that.
Sorry, what's the question?
Jay was asking about your inspiration for the keyboard, like your main influences, musicians, and things like that. How did you decide to play the keyboard? Classical music, for sure.
Well, I think there's my God, I'm interested in not just the keyboards, but the keyboards in what's the word? Interaction with chorus and choir and orchestras. Yeah. And there is a guy called Jacob Collier who does some fantastic arrangements for. He's a great keyboard player and he plays guitar, drums, and everything. But he incorporates the orchestra into his work, and he does amazing vocals through his keyboard and stuff like that. And he's only a young lad. He's only 23 years old, and he is brilliant. But I tend to look to what he's doing because it's so interesting, and I don't know anyone else that's doing what he's doing. But yeah, that's the kind of direction I like, to incorporate keyboard work with orchestra and choir.
For sure.
It's a sideline,
Yeah. Jay, mais alguma pergunta?
Queria perguntar para o Phil se existe algum plano aí, alguma coisa engatilhada para eles divulgarem um novo disco aqui no Brasil, né? Se tem alguma coisa sendo trabalhada, seria muito interessante tê-los por aqui.
Sim. Jay is asking about the plans to release the album in Brazil, if there's any chance of this album being released here in Brazil.
That I cannot give you an answer because I don't know. It's too early. The only thing I do know is it's available in the US. About South America, I honestly do not know the answer to that question. But as soon as I come off this interview tomorrow, I shall find out.
Yeah. I think they're releasing some old stuff here in Brazil. And I think it would be a good time to release this new one too.
I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Maybe it's held back. It's like there are a few territories where the release date is different to Europe, like for example Japan or whatever. But yeah, I'll find out the reason why that is tomorrow, because that's a very interesting point.
Good. Jay?
Eu faço essa pergunta para bandas que têm uma discografia grande, sempre para causar um pouco de reflexão. Quais seriam os 3 álbuns preferidos do Phil do Uriah Heep?
Jay is asking about your 3 favorite albums and Uriah Heep, like the 3 Uriah Heep favorite albums. Just 3. There's a lot.
Can't I just choose one out of the 25?
No.
Well, do you know, I think it would probably be... I won't choose the old ones like Demons and Wizards and all the favourites. No point, because they were great albums and it's too obvious. But since I've been in the band, I would say Sonic Origami, See a Light, and Chaos and Color.
Chaos and Color definitely is like one of the new best albums now.
Yeah.
It really works. Before we finish, we would like to know if there's anything scheduled, any concert scheduled for South America, Brazil.
As I said before, we do the festival season first in Europe and Scandinavia, which will take us through to August. But from September on towards, Christmas time, there will be a promotional tour for the album. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where we're going, I don't know. We're hoping to get into South America because we haven't been for a while. But yes, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great to have band here.
Really?
And I think lots of people would enjoy seeing the band play in Chaos and Colors and Chaos Live. It would be great too. Jay?
Queria agradecer, né? Vamos agradecer o Phil. Fantástico estar com ele aqui. E pede para ele deixar uma mensagem para os fãs brasileiros que a gente está numa expectativa muito grande de ter uma tour deles por aqui. E foi incrível essa oportunidade de estar batendo um papo com ele aqui no Heavy Culture.
It was a great pleasure to talk to you guys. Like, thank you very much for the opportunity. And we would like you to leave a message for the Brazilian fans here, okay? And what to expect. A new tour.
always expect the unexpected.
This is the best thing ever.
I hope we can make it to South America this year because it's very important for the band to revisit all the territories that we haven't been to for so long. So yes, is the answer. Hopefully, this year we'll be there.
Yeah,
that's my wish.
Yeah, and then you're gonna see probably 4 generations of fans.
Maybe 5.
Maybe. It's like there are babies now in the concerts.
It's good to talk.
Just put the hearing protection, and then they go there.
Galera, Phil, thank you so much. Galera, se inscrevam no canal. O Heavy Culture Talk Phil Lanzon está no nosso canal aqui e também vai ser, né? Vai estar no formato podcast na Rádio Shockbox. Pessoal, até a próxima.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope to see you playing in Brazil.
Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao.